Hey everyone, welcome to Ajay and Nathan Discuss Movies, a show in which we discuss movies both old and new. Today we have a new movie that's out in theaters right now. And Nathan, what is that movie and who directed this movie?
It's Novocaine, directed by Dan Berk and Robert Olson, I believe. I'm double checking my notes. Yep, Dan Berk, Robert Olson, Novocaine.
And what is this movie about?
Yeah, Novocaine stars America's favorite Nepo baby, Jack Quaid, as a man named Nathan Kane who suffers from a rare disorder where he cannot feel any physical pain or sensations like hot or cold, and it's kind of left him living a very sheltered existence until one day he meets a girl at work who really gets him to come out of his shell and give him a new lease on life. But that relationship and that new purpose becomes threatened when she is kidnapped during a robbery, and now Nathan Kane must put aside his fears and hunt down the people that took her on a wild chase throughout the city with the action and comedy. Novocaine.
And how did you feel about this movie, Nathan?
It was a fun movie. I will say that. It's a fun movie. The context of which I saw it was last Tuesday, just needing to kill 2 hours of my life. And so I see Novocaine, I sit down, I have a pretty good time watching it, I leave the theater, and I don't think about it until today when we shoot this review. So it's a pretty solid, just like fun movie to see in the theater. I'd say the biggest strength of it is it has a very charismatic lead cast. Jack Quaid and Amber Midthunder really carry the entire movie on their backs. It's got a cute little premise. It is just all around a pretty fun time at the movies. Ajay, what are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. It was a fun time. Yeah. It was a fun communal experience. It wasn't a packed theater in my screening.
Neither was mine.
It was like 10, 15 people at the very most. But people were laughing when they needed to laugh at the jokes. There was a kid there. I was like, I don't know if I would bring a kid to this kind of movie. It is rated R. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Means nothing anymore.
Yeah, it means nothing. I mean, for what it was, we were thinking about, we discussed Deadpool and Wolverine last year. This does have a Deadpool kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I guess, like, with the character getting constantly hurt and then bouncing back, that the gimmick is there, yeah.
With the quips and all that. Yeah, it does remind me of that movie Nobody. Remember that movie Nobody?
I do. I've been thinking of Nobody in association with this movie.
I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. They had some great practical and visual effects. I thought the sound design was really good, especially when it came to the guns. I thought the guns, the sound of the guns being shot were very hard and like disorderly and destructive.
Punchy,
yes. Yeah. It was very timely in that matter. I do slightly disagree with you in terms of the fact that I do remember the movie.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I watched it on Sunday.
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Could be that.
But there are scenes that do stick with me. I do remember the scene in which they were, this is not really a spoiler, but they enter into a home, somewhere in the second, third act of the movie, and that entire sort of situation that occurs.
The booby traps.
The booby traps.
That is fun, yeah.
And also the car chase scenes were also very memorable. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was really good. It is interesting to see how Jack Quaid, and I mentioned this in the companion review, but it bears repeating, that Jack Quaid's character from this movie is basically just Joel McHale's character from Spider-Man 2.
Oh, that boy of yours is a real hero.
Yeah.
It's basically just that.
Jack Quaid is slowly kind of being typecast as kind of awkward, lanky.
Hey, Dean! Pierce mistook me for the Dean today. I want windows!
How did that make you feel?
I've become a stranger to myself.
I'm bald now. I've always been bald. I really dreamt of having hair. And now, the bald man is awake.
Action. Why go Greendale? Just because!
White guy right now, and he does very well. He's great in Companion. He's good in this. He's good in The Boys. But all those characters all kind of bleed into one another. And I do think he is a talented actor. And I do hope that the next thing he does is maybe outside of this mold.
Yeah, I would like to see like a more like character-driven film by Jack Quaid, and a film in which he's playing a character that isn't just like the same characteristic.
Just Jack Quaid.
Yeah, essentially. Like I want to see something that's outside of the box, something that like challenges him to like go for a role that is different from what is expected of him, and that we've come to. Yes. But overall, the cast were great. The Amber Midthunder I thought was really good.
Yeah, no, she's fantastic. Slowly becoming one of my favorite actresses to watch. And she was great in the Prey, the Predator prequel. Fantastic in that movie. So I hope she gets more opportunities in this action genre.
Ray Nicholson was also good.
He's a lot of fun. He's very hammy. You can see in his face, not just because he is the son of Jack Nicholson. There's clearly something in the genetic Nicholson code that just aids in crazy. He's got those crazy eyes.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, the dynamic, the chemistry between the cast was really good. Jacob Batalon, I think. I feel as if he needs to be in a more starring role, not as this quippy supportive sidekick that we've grown accustomed to.
Yeah, when he shows up he doesn't show up until about like the second act. He's mostly just like Jack Quaid's friend, like while they play video games. And I could tell it was him because he just has a very distinct voice. I'm just like, oh, it's Ned from Spider-Man. And then he shows up. I'm like, oh, look, it's Ned from Spider-Man. And they basically, again, an actor who is playing kind of a similar role to what they've done before. But again, they do it well. Yeah. And they are still very funny and affable and charming.
He's just Ned without the horrible hairpiece that Disney gave him. That's basically what it is. But I mean, going back to the humor, I really thought the humor was very subtle but hilarious because when he's at that tattoo parlor scene,
that's probably my favorite scene in the movie.
At his neck, and it's a swastika tattoo.
Yeah,
and they don't really make a focus on it as much as they should, but they kind of drew it out, no pun intended. But it was very hilarious in the moment, you know.
No, his initial reaction, he's like, ah, man, I like your ink. He's like, looks up, he's like, he pauses, he's like, I like yours too. It's just like incredibly confused. Like, yeah, no, Jack Quaid's just really good at that very awkward,
likable, affable kind of.
Yeah, no, and the comedy, it's a good meshing of action and comedy, I would say. It's very funny, and the gimmick of he can get hurt but feel no pain and kind of keep going. That's most of where the movie's focused on. I think it works. It does a lot with the premise, and a lot of the action scenes are constantly using that for goofs and gags.
So we mentioned the positives. What were some of the negatives in this one?
I would say, first off, one thing I noticed, it felt as though there's a lot of dead air in between a lot of the main sequences of the movie. There's, we have the heist he goes to the tattoo parlor, goes to that guy's house, and then the ending confrontation. Those are the major points in the movie. But between a lot of those, you can feel it starting to drag, because then they bring in some secondary, detective characters that are like, we need to find this Nathan Kane fella before he causes more havoc. You can really feel it start to slow. It feels like all the effort was put into these action scenes, which is good, but at the same time, it just feels like the connective tissue is just a little thin in terms of me being invested.
It felt like it overstayed its welcome.
A little bit. It did feel like it overstayed its welcome
and we're getting to spoilers now.
Yeah,
we
are.
There is that moment where they're at the garage and Ray Nicholson's character gets shot by one of the cops.
Yes.
I felt like at that moment, yes, the car chase scene afterwards was great. The defibrillator scene where he shocks him was great. The battle scenes were great. But I felt like at that moment, that's when the movie should have cut to credits. Mm-hmm. Yes, the other scenes were great that followed it, but I think logically, in terms of what the story was trying to set out to do, it wouldn't have made sense if they just ended it right there.
Yeah, they definitely could have cut down a little bit. It's an hour and 50, but I feel like you could cut that down to an hour 30, tighten it up a lot. And then I will say, as much as I enjoyed the movie, and enjoyed the fights. There was something about the action that left a little to be desired. I was thinking of, you mentioned Nobody, the Bob Odenkirk movie, and I was thinking of that while watching this, and it had shades of that, but I remember the action in Nobody just being a lot more like grittier and just like dirty fighting, and just there was a lack of that kind of energy in a lot of the fights. I would say just a more kinetic kind of like motion to it, because the gags are fun in the fights, but the way the fights are shot just feel a little standard to me.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that point of view. I understand that perspective, but again, Nathan Cain is an investment banker.
Ow! Oh, ow! We appreciate that you've just opened up a new Super Saver account with us today. But the fact is, you do not have the assets to justify this loan.
True, very true. No, that's fair.
So,
he can't do like a John Wick flip and like kick and like take these guys out. But there was something, just a tiny little thing in my brain that's just like, I wish there was a little bit more to this. Like, I think the best fight in the movie is that tattoo parlor fight, just because there's so many just like things to do in that setting against a dude that's like 7 feet tall, built like a brick shit house, and they do all the fun little gags with that. But then like the fight before that is fine just to get us into the flow of things. I do like the booby trap house, just because he's getting hit with booby traps and he seems completely unfazed by it. He gets an arrow in his leg. He's like, that might as well happen. Whatever.
He uses that arrow to then not decapitate, but to stick it through the head.
Yeah, to stick it, like, he like leg locks him and stick. That's very fun, but maybe just something with the choreography or something about the way it was shot. I need a little bit more. It's not that it was bad. I think I just wanted a little bit more.
Yeah, there was a little bit of sloppiness when it came to the choreography of the action scene.
A little bit, and that can work well, again, like you said. He's an investment banker. He doesn't know Muay Thai.
Yeah.
But just like throw each other around just a little bit more.
Yeah, for the entertainment portion of the we were mentioning this off air, but this does have like an 80s kind of feel to it.
Yes. This felt very much like an 80s or like 90s kind of movie, to the point where if it were made in either of those times, Dennis Quaid and Jack Nicholson would have been playing the parts their kids are currently playing, which is this weird, it just gives me the image of this weird Hollywood Ouroboros, just a snake eating its tail, just like, if we can't get the elderly actors, we can get their spawn.
Yeah. Like, while watching this movie, I was like, this is like the perfect movie that I would watch on like a 5th grade, 6th grade day.
Yeah.
On Spike TV on a Saturday night when I'm not being invited to parties or anything like that, because I was a loner as a kid.
Join the club, brother.
But for 6th grade, Saturday night, watching it on Spike TV, which was owned by Paramount, which is the same production company that made this film.
Oh yeah.
I think that this film feels like a relic of like the early 2010s. Like, yes, it's filmed like it's an 80s movie, but it could have been released in the 2010s.
It could, yeah. It does feel like that. It feels like
and maybe it's a subtle dig, because it does feel a little bit dated. The visuals don't really stand out on its own. I do feel like there are times where like you could have easily just spruced things up a bit, maybe like dim the lightness up a little bit on screen with the movie. But it does feel like a film that could easily translate well in any time.
Yeah, no.
And I think that's a testament to how well the film is.
No, it does. It does. And God, what was I thinking? I lost my train of thought, if I can think. It feels like a sleepover movie, like kids in like middle school who are just like, I snuck into my brother's room and I found this DVD underneath all the it's Novocaine, it's so crazy, and then you just have a bunch of kids going, oh my God, I stabbed him in the face, just like, and it feels like that, and there's a charm to that, and it feels very nice and quaint. That's the feeling I had watching this movie. I'm just like, this is very cute. It's very quaint. I'm enjoying myself in the moment right now. It feels like a nice. It's like eating a donut.
Yeah.
It's like eating a donut. Just like this. Like, is there a lot of nutritional value in this? Not really, but it's gonna fill me up. It's gonna taste good. And then, I'll go for a run later and forget that I did it.
It tastes like I wouldn't say donut, because at least with this movie, there's some sort of like, I wouldn't say nutritional portion to the film, but there's some good to it.
There's some good
with a
to
donut, it's just completely, you're just a full-blown diabetic if you eat one.
Yeah,
but
it's a parfait.
I would say it's like a club soda.
Ooh,
It's like refreshing. It's
Ooh.
cool. Night out, like the
what?
day after, like of
That's
just
a
going
good
ham.
food analogy.
Yeah, like you're watching so many good movies as of recently,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's like a Nora or The Substance or like anything of that nature.
Yeah.
You watch something that's conventional the next day, and you realize there's more to it than just
Yeah.
conventional.
You know what? That's a good point. It feels like a nice palate cleanser.
Yeah.
You just watch something, it just refreshes you. It's like, nice, yeah. Now I'm ready for whatever the next thing I watch to either be really, really good or god awful.
Like that new Opus movie starring John Malkovich.
Oh, Opus.
And
Yeah.
Ayo, I'm tired of using technology.
What? Is that a song from the movie?
That's a 50 Cent song, but no
Oh,
worries.
okay.
We'll continue with the movie.
Yes,
This
yes.
movie. What parts of we were discussing, and obviously we're all well into spoilers, but were there any like moments in this film, like especially in the second or third act? You mentioned how it could have been shortened.
Yeah.
Were there any scenes in particular that you felt like, okay, I could have easily just done away with the scene?
I'd say definitely a lot of the detective stuff. You could have cut that down. Maybe show them at the start of the movie, just like, we got to find this Nathan Kane fella. Just like they have a conversation at one point on the phone where he's like, "Do you have someone you love?" And she's like,
that was horrible.
"Yes, I have a daughter who I love very." It's like, I don't care. I don't care enough about generic cop lady.
I feel like
to care.
You could have easily just ditched those two characters, and the movie would have been better.
You really could have. If you just like have the cop show up in the third act, just like, police, get down.
And why are there only two cops in the entire city?
Okay, I think
Why?
because also a weird thing with this movie is that it's kind of a Christmas film.
Yeah.
It takes place during Christmas. The robbers are all dressed up like Santa, which is a funny visual. But then just like, I think they mentioned at one point, just like, yeah, no, all the cops just was spread thin. It's Christmas. Everyone wants to be home with their families. It's like, I'm not sure that's how it works. If like 3 robbers have like murdered 9 police officers outside of a bank and taken a hostage, I don't know where this takes place. I forget what town it takes place in, but you think just like, I don't know, that'd kind of be a big deal. They'd say, drop the Christmas ham and get out here. I don't know, but it's like, it's the kind of movie where you have to suspend your disbelief, I think.
Of course.
Especially with the main premise being he doesn't feel pain, but it's like, I don't know, he sticks his hand in a deep fat fryer. And it's like, that's cool, but also that hand is gone.
Yeah.
The fact that he still has skin on that thing is miraculous. Although that does aid in one of the best jokes in the movie. It's literally right at the end where he wakes up in the hospital. He's like with Ned from Spider-Man. He's like, "How long have I been out?" He's like, "Oh, you've been in a medically induced coma for like several months. Yeah, you had a brain aneurysm and a heart attack that sent you into cardiac arrest. You took a lot of damage." Just this fun joke that like all the physical stuff caught up with him.
Another funny joke.
I spit so hard. Oh yeah, get a slow-mo cam on that. Jesus Christ,
That was visual. Talk about visual.
I did it again. I spit on your camera.
One of the funniest scenes in the entire movie was when he's meeting with that homeowner that's struggling because his wife died.
Yes.
And he gives him the money that was stolen from the bank. And he's like, "Yeah, I'd launder that if I were you."
Yeah.
I was dying. That was hilarious.
That was a good one. No, there's a lot of funny gags in the movie. I do like the first 30 or so minutes are also pretty good because it focuses on just, him, his kind of life with this ailment, like you see in his house, just like he's got like tennis balls on everything to like ensure he doesn't bump or hurt himself. It's like nice little visual detail like that. Takes time to establish the relationship between him and Amber Midthunder. It works. It's all very good because again, you have these two very charismatic actors with really good chemistry.
Yeah. And even the soundtrack was really good. There's that moment where he's sitting in the car stuck in traffic and he's just playing Darkness, I believe in a thing called Love.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. I loved it so much. So yeah, this film has a lot to offer, and I think if you want to like a nice solid B movie, conventional movie, you'll enjoy this movie.
Yeah. Something a little cheesy, something a little corny. But that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It works.
In a world in which movies are sterile.
Yes, and don't make money.
Don't make money.
Did this make any money?
I think it made a profit, yeah.
That's good.
It's been in the theaters for like 2 weeks now, so
yes.
I'm happy for that.
That's like 45 years in movie talk.
That's Titanic level.
That's Titanic level.
Yeah.
This is staying for a while.
Yeah.
Movie lengths in theaters have become like dog years. You have to multiply it by 7.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, that's enough. This movie's been in the theater for what? 5 days? Oh, she an old girl.
Yeah.
Thinking about putting her down soon?
We can't have this in the home.
It's like, you're gonna need to put this one. We're gonna need
Gotta
to
put this down.
Gotta put this one down. Get a puppy for the kids. Kids need to see that new Snow White.
18-year-old girl. She's good. She's done.
She's as good as dead. 18-year-old dog. That's very old for a dog.
I was thinking more of a woman.
Oh, a person.
Oh,
Now we're just talking about Hollywood. She's 18.
Yeah.
She's on her way out.
Yeah.
Once you hit 30, it stops.
So wrapping up our thoughts.
Yeah, Novocaine. It's a good time. It's a nice, chill, breezy little movie. You watch it. You kill a couple hours. You come out. You're like, okay, nice.
Yeah. I was in a very dark place before I watched this movie. I had a rough couple of days. So I wasn't expecting much. I watched the trailers, but I wasn't like active in terms of like really breaking down the movie in terms of like the trailer. So when I was seated to watch the movie, all I wanted was just a nice breezy 2 hours, and I got that.
Good.
And I'm happy as a result of it. I think Jack Quaid is here to stay.
Good.
I think he has a lot of potential and promise.
Ooh, beware, for it is Halloween, and I am the Crab Keeper! Jack Quaid, you must face your fate and choose one of these 3 pumpkins. And inside each pumpkin is a tape we will watch.
Okay.
And I don't know why I'm saying choose the pumpkin, for there are 3 and we will watch all 3 of them. So your choice is completely irrelevant. Ooh!
Yes, I like to see him venture out and do something different.
Of course.
Compared to what we've been accustomed to seeing. More Red Letter Media videos from him. But
He's great. He's great. One of his best performances is in Red Letter Media.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think this is a good film. Yes, Jack Quaid doing the Joel McHale thing can get kind of tiring. I felt like, and I messaged you this on Sunday, where I felt like the cast feel like just the B team for what the actual cast could have been. Like they made the casting process what the actual actor they had in mind for the role.
I feel like that goes back to the thing we said, where this feels like a movie that could have come out in any time. You take the core concept of mild-mannered guy who can't feel pain, but he's got to go save his best gal, and just like that can come out in any time, and in any time, early 2000s, 80s, 90s, right now. You just grab the 3 kind of like biggest people like on their way up. Like if this were like 2010, you'd have grabbed Chris Pratt to play Nathan Kane.
Amber Midthunder is basically Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, I can see Aubrey Plaza in this kind of role.
You know what director I thought could have been great for this movie? And you'll be shocked when I say this. Not shocked, but you'll
Lars
be like,
von Trier?
Sam Raimi.
No, that's not shocking.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I think with that movie Darkman, I think that
Darkman
this is basically just Darkman.
yeah. One of Darkman's powers is that he can't feel pain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is Darkman.
This is just
Jack Quaid is Darkman.
Yeah, Jack Quaid is Liam Neeson from Darkman. Yeah,
exactly. No.
I think that Sam Raimi would have done a great job of directing this film.
Sam Raimi could direct any movie.
Yeah,
quite frankly.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that final thoughts. I think we already discussed the final thoughts.
I think we wrapped it up pretty nicely. Novocaine, not bad. Go check it out.
What movie are we going to discuss next?
I don't know. There's nothing really. No, we don't want to watch Opus. We're not going to watch Snow White.
We're not watching. I feel like if you're a grown man and you have a hard opinion on Snow White, you should register yourself as a sex offender.
We're not watching whatever Netflix slop is out there. There's Death of a Unicorn.
Maybe.
Maybe that might be interesting.
When is Bright Eyes out already?
Bright Eyes?
What's that Valentine's Day? Okay, baby, it's dated.
Oh, are you trying to say Heart Eyes?
Heart Eyes, yeah.
That came in what? That was Valentine's Day.
Oh.
That was a month ago. I watched it.
Was it good?
It was pretty good. It was okay.
Maybe we'll discuss that next week. I don't know.
Really? Well, it's not even in theaters right now.
It's festive.
It's done and gone. The holiday isn't even. No, what's our next holiday? April Fool's Day.
Yeah. All right, we'll probably watch a Connie movie next week then.
Okay.
Might as well.
Yeah, sure.
All right, guys, that's it for us. Stick around. Watch the movie if you haven't already. And I think that's it for us.
That's it.
Bye.
How was your... Oh my God, even his shadow. Look at his shadow.